Shout out to Square Enix for sponsoring this video. Many people may ask why I'm super excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. In some ways more excited than I was for Kingdom Hearts 3. So let me explain. Kingdom Hearts 3 for me was a game that was always in the back of my mind like, bruh, when is it coming out? But as I've gotten older, did research and understand the cycles of game development, they really never said Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out. Our first Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal trailer was E3 2013 at Sony's conference. And that was our first 5 to 6 year wait for Kingdom Hearts 3. However, with Kingdom Hearts 4 is a new saga. And yes, while it will incorporate many story elements from the Darkseeker saga, this is Tetsuya Nomura's chance to still start a new era for Kingdom Hearts. However, I think there's a clear indication that Nomura is going back to a project that got revealed back at E3 2006, and that is Final Fantasy Versus XIII. But before we dive deep into the parallels of Nomura, we need to check out Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition is out now. You can play this wonderfully remastered on every modern platform. I'm currently playing it on Nintendo Switch because you know, portable RPGs over everything, baby. But the 3D models have been upgraded to HD, new illustrations have been added, and all kinds of new features are now included. I'm a huge fan of being able to change the small things from walk and run as well now. Additionally, the game that formed the bedrock of the story, Radical Dreamers content, is also in the game as well. Even though the frame rate can be inconsistent at times, I can say how much I adore Square Enix that giving an older RPG a speed up button. Thank the Lord. Check out Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, available now on all modern platforms. Thank you once again for Square Enix for sponsoring today's video. I think Versus 13 was the game that I refused to let go because I followed for almost a decade plus until Final Fantasy 15 got released. I love Final Fantasy 15, but like I said in a previous video, it surely is flawed in my opinion. Mainly story concepts that never got into the full game like Stella. Her design was reworked into the character Lunafreya Nox Florette, who serves a different role in the story than that was planned for Stella, rather than disappointing just everybody by including a Stella that didn't match what they were expected from the earlier revealer trailers of Final Fantasy Versus 13. But here's the truth about Final Fantasy Versus 13. Final Fantasy Versus 13 could have went down as one of the best Square Enix games of all time. It's just how things were looking even while going through development hell and changing into Final Fantasy 15. Game cancellations are the worst when you're following it. I mean, it's just a game, but when you're disappointed with what you got, sometimes you just get kind of excess over what could have been, bro. It's insane that no matter how many years had passed, some of us will never forget about this unreleased atmosphere. The eerie and enchanting meeting between Stella and Noctis, the dark atmosphere of the scenes and the theme of Summoners playing hit so hard, bro. Those meaning behind the Shakespeare quotes, which I will talk about later, whether it's relevant to the story and how the plot is going to take a dark turn. This game is not just a game for Square Enix. For a lot of people, it's been a whole journey. But what if I told you that Nomura is trying to recreate this with Kingdom Hearts, the future of the series, and the first glimpse being Quadratum in Kingdom Hearts 4. The first thing that seemed very similar between the atmospheric vibes of both the KH4 reveal trailer and Final Fantasy Versus 13 is the world designs. The first thing we are shown is both city-like structures, urban areas, and a giant-like building. The most important thing is the two different quotes, and this is gonna blow your mind. Maybe I could be reaching, but this is what I got to, y'all. But yeah, they could mean a similar thing. In the Versus 13 reveal trailer, we are first seen with a quote from William Shakespeare. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Spoilers from Hamlet, like, who cares? The phrase to me conveys Hamlet's inner emotional state and philosophy during the story of Hamlet. Hamlet is depressed because his father died, and that is pretty similar to how Noctis' father died in Final Fantasy 15. Now, what got me going insane right now is the opening quote of Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal trailer, which says, "If this isn't the ending you desired, if it brings you despair, then leave this world for another." I'm starting to see that Nomura's idea and concepts on life and death with his characters and within fantasy are parallel or one of the same here. Later in the same trailer, if you do leave this world behind, don't expect to return to the one which you came from. And then my brain started reaching even further. When I hear quadratum now, my brain is starting to think ultimatum, you know, decisions, good or bad, you know. Now you may be wondering, if you're not a fan of Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy Versus 13 enthusiasts, how does this trailer feel very similar? If we take the Final Fantasy E3 2013 gameplay trailer and the Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal trailer, they both feel strongly alike. The way the trailer sets up vague or discreet dialogue seems like a return to form with old Square Enix trailers around the late 2000s and the early 2010s. Some of the building structures, even in the KHIV trailer, remind me of the capital and what we know of Final Fantasy 15 too. But now we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex and Final Fantasy Versus XIII. I honestly think the game is pushing more subtle references from Final Fantasy Versus XIII compared to Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex and the Yozora storyline. I think we might see that somewhere down from this game, but let me explain. Tetsuya Nomura has revealed that he chose making Kingdom Hearts 4 over a Verum Rex game because he would be worried about Sora if he didn't. I took this as says, we were barely going to see Sora in a Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex, or the story might have been kinda wild. Nomura also stated from an old Someone Canera interview that only I know the full story behind Versus 13 and Verum Rex. However, the two are completely different, and I think an unexpected development is occurring. Nomura, we know. This is your revenge plot. I say this a lot, but you know, companies, creatives, directors tell us one thing for public relations, marketing, etc. I think Nomura knows at this point, with recent interviews, that many fans are still curious about whatever Final Fantasy Versus 13 was. I think Versus 13, Kingdom Hearts 4, and potentially Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex, please God, don't turn this to a mobile game in the future, Nomura, will all be ultimately up to how Tetsuya Nomura wants his games to be portrayed going forward. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan at its core, but getting a reveal trailer feeling so nostalgic to me is downright amazing. I think even while I'm really excited for the future of Kingdom Hearts, it seems like it's kind of going back to form with original concepts with Final Fantasy in it, but on next gen hardware. Even if Quadratum World is 1 hour long, but just seeing how it looks in possibly the next 3 years, that's when I think it will come out. Besides me a lot from a fan and coming what could have been. So how do you feel about Nomura's revenge or the intertwining of old projects getting rebirthed in future Kingdom Hearts games? I mean, we know it's still going to be Kingdom Hearts because of the last part of the reveal trailer from the 20th anniversary. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and comment down below. It helps your boy grow on YouTube, and hit the bell and make sure you get all the notifications to get content from your boy. On this channel, I cover JRPGs and fighting games and sometimes anime games if the mood is hidden. But don't worry, I won't spam you guys a lot either. At most, you will get 3 a day, okay? Chill out, I'm telling y'all, and I'm being transparent, so hit subscribe. That being said, you guys are golden. I'm being transparent, so hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, please. Regardless, follow me on Twitter at Avataryaya_. I lost my last Twitter last year. We're trying to push past the 3K mark. Come through, link in the description down below. My Discord is there too. Everything you need to know is in the description, I know. But remember, you guys are golden, and that is raw. Squala, peace, and I'm out.
I've been the devil, I need me an arc and I'm in my breathing, I feel like time's right. Walking this bitch with a sound to while she rock it, I keep me a domino. Bitch, I'm a dip and I feel like Kazaki. Stretching that pussy out like it's Pilates. I'm snatching the soul like right out of a body. Fire, I'm spitting, I'm feeling like Dobby. White bitch, blonde hair, looking like Lucy. She from Kyoshi, I paint her face Suki.